Hey guys, thanks for joining. Today I'm talking to Tyler, a first-year PA student at Rutgers University. We go through his decision to switch from being a theater major to a PA and entering healthcare and what that looked like. So make sure you tune in, listen, and then if you like it, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. All right, we're good. So go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Tyler. I'm originally from Massachusetts. I'm 24. So yeah, I was born and raised in Massachusetts, and I went to undergrad there at UMass Amherst, where I majored in public health sciences, and I got a minor in education. So I graduated from there in 2017, applied for PA school in 2018, and now I'm a first year at Rutgers in New Jersey.
Awesome. So did you take a gap year then?
Yep,
Okay.
I used it so I could get
Cool.
more patient care experience.
Gotcha. So going into undergrad, were you pre-PA to begin with? Where'd you get to the I want to be a PA moment?
So my story is like very different. So I actually started off as a theater major my freshman year. So I was at a completely different school, like in the city. I was in Boston, and my whole life I had been like performing, acting, and I really enjoyed it. Especially like the acting portion. I've done musicals and things like that. And so I thought that's absolutely what I wanted to do. And then when I got to college, I soon realized that there was definitely a disconnect for me personally between the hobby and it possibly being a career.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I personally just didn't have the passion for it, and I wanted a career where I'd be able to help people on a daily basis and see like where my efforts are going. So I transferred schools. I had absolutely no idea. I have no one in my family that's in the medical field really at all. I have a cousin that's a PT, but besides that, I didn't really have anyone like pressure me to go to medical school or anything like that. So when I transferred schools to UMass, I kind of was just starting on a blank slate. And luckily, the reason why I kind of started this whole journey was because I was in a dorm with all science majors.
Okay.
And so I saw that they were enjoying all their classes so much. Some of them were in engineering or pre med or pre PA. And I was like, oh, I really like this. I like that they're so interested in it. And admittedly, like I never really was like a science person at all. I loved writing, like kind of the theater creative background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the more I talked to them, I was like, maybe I could see myself in healthcare. So randomly, I just decided to become a public health major, and it kind of just like took off from there. I really found my own love for the subject. I realized that um, just because I wasn't really a sciency type of person didn't mean that this wasn't the career for me, and that I could add kind of a different perspective to it, especially with my different background. I really like being a team player, and that's something that's always kind of stayed consistent in whatever career I was thinking of doing, whether it was
Mm-hmm.
theater or education and now health.
Interesting. I really like that point you just made. Even though I didn't necessarily see myself as a science person, this was something I want to do because that's a question that I see come up a lot, or I get emails or messages or in our Facebook group. I don't enjoy chemistry. Can I still be a PA? Okay, well, I
Yes.
mean, there are some people who enjoy chemistry. I was not one of them. I know that they are out there and they are crazy, but um, I mean, like you said, like you don't have to necessarily love every class, but it's a lot different too once you get to PA school and you're learning stuff that you do have a great interest for and that's going to essentially help somebody one day.
Right. Yeah, that's like the
So,
end goal. And for me, that's really what solidified it. I can always see that end goal and think to myself, like, this is why I'm doing it. Because at the end of the day, that's the type of career that I want. I love talking
right.
to people. Um, and I think that's something I tell a lot of pre PAs too, that you really have to look at your own personal characteristics and think about how you're going to add maybe something different that maybe not a typical science person would have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I kind of use those strengths in my application as well. And I think we can talk about that.
Yeah, so you think having just a different background and kind of some I mean, interests and hobbies that were unique? Do you think that made you stand out?
Yeah, I think that was probably what made me stand out the most. Like my grades were pretty average. Um, but I had a lot of experience also. Like I said, I was an education minor. So at one point in time, I thought I wanted to maybe go into teaching. My sister's a teacher. And so I kind of love that as well. And I love that aspect of healthcare too, like educating people. Um, and so at one point, I was like a preschool teacher. I was working for AmeriCorps and I did it for a year. It was kind of like my work study program. And I think that's something that really helped me stand out as well because it wasn't directly healthcare experience, but something that I really touched on in my application was that I saw while working in a low income um, community the how health and education are inherently intertwined all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And that was actually, I had this experience when I was a theater major. And that's kind of when I realized, maybe I could have a career where I could have like kind of like a social justice background. I had an interest in that. And so I think that's what brought me to where I was today. I realized from that experience that I wanted something a little more directly impacting the community. And so I highly suggest to people not only just get healthcare experience in a hospital, but there's so many ways that you can get experience and learn about a community and how you can help. And
Yeah.
so that can help people in their application as well.
No, I tell people that too because I think people assume that all of your volunteer hours need to be only medical. And I don't think that's true. I think it should be something that you're actually passionate about that's helping your community, and you're not just doing it for the hours.
Exactly.
Um, yeah.
And that's something that people ask me all the time too, like how many volunteer hours did I have? And truthfully, I didn't really have many because switching like careers and majors all the time, like I really didn't have the time to dedicate like another portion to volunteering when I already had to get healthcare experience. I had to focus on school, make sure my grades are okay. And of course, like I would have loved to have more volunteering experience, but if you're doing it just for the hours, then personally, I don't really think it's even worth it because during your interview, they're going to bring it up. And
Mm-hmm.
you'd want to be able to say, like, not only did I have 1,000 hours doing whatever, but this is the impact that it had on me. This
Yeah.
is why it was important, and this is how I'm going to take it into my next step coming into PA school. So if you don't really have that connection, really, then of course, volunteering and helping people is always great, but don't feel super pressured to just get those hours because.
Right. No, I completely agree. I mean, if someone in an interview is not passionate about what they're talking about, it shows. I mean, you can't fake that. If you are truly passionate about something, it comes through. If you are trying to act like you are, that comes through too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a problem. Um, so, what else? I mean, you said your stats were pretty average, had some interesting experience. When it came to the application process, I mean, how many schools did you apply to, and kind of what were the outcomes there?
So I applied to 11 schools. I was offered 3 interviews. Two of them I accepted. One of them I couldn't accept because I had a conflict on that day. And by that time, I already knew that I really wanted to go to Rutgers anyway. So I turned that one down. I was put on an interview hold list for one school, and I also was granted a secondary application for another school, but I wasn't given an interview to those ones. So yeah,
Okay,
I went to 2 interviews. Kind of.
gotcha. Okay, how did you choose the schools that you applied to?
Um, so my first kind of filter was making sure that they had really good pants scores. That's something
Mm-hmm.
that was important to me. I wanted to make sure that I was going to a school that was going to prepare me well. I think most schools have pretty decent like pants scores. You'll see like between 97% or 99, and I
Yeah.
really don't think that makes too much of a difference. But that was something that I looked into. Um, Proximity, like location, I wanted to make sure I was kind of close, but I really applied all over the map. I didn't really have a specific area that I wanted to stay in. Um, And then also a few of the schools, just like I said, I'm from the Northeast. A lot of the schools in the Boston area, they require a lot of patient care experience.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, I wasn't able to apply to those schools. So I kind of was forced to look elsewhere as well.
Okay. How were interviews for you?
They were good. My first
Yeah.
one was Rutgers, and that was like my top choice. So I was so nervous. Um, I drove out like the night before, was staying in a hotel, and I was like rehearsing. And no matter how much I looked over my notes, I was like, it's just gonna come out. Like whatever I say, it's just gonna happen.
Mhm.
Um, so I was super nervous for that. And at the end of the interview, to be honest, I thought I went awful. Like
Oh.
I didn't like say anything like glaringly awful. Like I didn't
Hmm.
answer a question like a weird way, but I didn't really feel like I showed my true self, and it made me like kind of um obviously like upset. Like I left, I was like, I clearly am not getting accepted to school. I had plans to like visit the area, look at restaurants and stuff, and I was like, this just isn't gonna happen. I'm going home. And so like I went home and I like told my parents, and they were like, well, you just have to prepare for the next one, because I had the next one in a couple of weeks. How I made it through. uh, so I would say to people, like, even if you walk out of an interview feeling like you didn't do too hot, you never know
Yeah.
impression you left on them. So don't doubt yourself. It's going to happen the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's always gonna feel like that. And I tell people when we're doing mock interviews, I'm like, no matter how many times you practice, we could do 100 mock interviews, and in the real thing, you're going to leave the room and be like, oh, I should have said this, or why did I say that? I mean, it's going to happen. Like, I mean, you just go in and be yourself and do what you can and hope that they like what they see and that it's a good fit.
Yeah, and
It's got to be a good fit for both people, you
it
know?
would make you feel comfortable. That was another
Mm-hmm.
thing. There was a clear, for me, difference. I won't name the other school, but there was a
That's fine.
clear difference between Rutgers and the other school that I had interviewed at. It just felt very homey. And
Yeah.
even though they could tell I was nervous, I appreciated that they asked me how I felt about the school, if I had any questions, and they were very supportive, and they had a lot of the same um, goals in mind in terms of what I wanted to be as a PA, how I saw myself as a student, what I wanted my curriculum to look like. And when you go into a school, I really feel like if you're meant to be there, you're going to feel at home, and it's just going to make sense.
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of people get caught up in just do I meet the requirements? Like, tell me which schools I can apply to because I meet their requirements. And that's fine to get an idea, but you still need to have an interest in going there. I mean, there has to be some reason that you want to go to a school more than they'll accept me.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. Okay, so now you're in PA school, and what part are you in?
I'm in my first year.
Okay.
So my
How
program is 33 months.
Okay,
So,
that's a little different.
mhm.
Is it? So you did your undergrad in public health. It's not a major in public health, is it?
No.
Okay. Do
So
you get time off then?
yeah, so originally in the curriculum, we have this summer off to do like a research. It's kind of like our master's thesis. But they recently just let us know that we're going to be doing that during our clinical rotations at the same time.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll have this summer off to, I guess, work if we want to, volunteer if we want to. So yeah, there's like 2 or 3 months that we'll have as a break, which I'm super
Wow.
thankful for, which is like another reason why I really like this program. Like that is huge, like going
Yeah, enjoy it. I mean, it will be the probably last summer of your life.
yeah,
Not to sound
exactly.
bleak, but I mean, looking back, yeah, you don't get those types of breaks anymore in the real world. It's like counting down your vacation days if you want to take a big break. So, yeah, it's a lot different out here. But well, that's fun. So you have, I guess, a year of didactic.
So we have a year and a half. So
Okay.
ours is like a module system. So our
Mm-hmm.
first semester we do like the basic sciences all over again.
Yeah.
Semester, so I'm in my second semester. We do like neuro, path, classes like that, and then we start modules after this summer. So we do all the medicine all there,
Right
and then
there.
we start rotations the following January.
Cool. Okay, I kind of like that setup. Is there anything else just interesting about Rutgers or that they offer that you feel like people should know about?
Yeah, so first of all, I think Rutgers is such, I mean, not to sound egotistical, but I just love the community here. Um, we're super warm and fuzzy, as we like to say. We're all puppy lovers for some reason.
How many people are in your class?
I think we have about 50
Okay.
for each class. Super warm and fuzzy. Everyone is very inclusive. That's something I loved about our program. We actually just got, I think it was called like an Inclusion and Diversity Award from the PAEA.
Cool.
So that's something that I love to say about my program because being a part of the LGBTQ community, that was something that was super important to me. I wanted to make sure that I went to a school that was going to support who I am as a person and foster an education around the community because, as you know, um, you want to cater to the community and their specific health needs. And I think that's something that Rutgers does very, very well. And I'm very proud of it.
That's awesome. Do they? So I know my program, like we had I don't know if I'd call it a free clinic. We basically did screenings at we held them in like a church, but it was in like a low income area, and then people would come, and I mean, we were students, so we couldn't do that much. But we always had PAs on site, and we would do like blood pressure readings and check for diabetes, and if they had anything going on, make sure they got to where they needed to be. But yeah, did y'all do any like outreach or
That's so
anything like
beautiful you
that?
say that because we do have that. We have
Oh, really?
it's actually in a church too. It'll
Okay.
area. So it's
I guess they're
all the
free to
health
use,
needs.
so.
Yeah, it's for people that don't really have access otherwise. And so we have like a lot of families come in with a range of different health needs. But one thing I like about that is you see third years as well. So like even though they're on clinical rotations, they'll come back during
Mm-hmm.
their Hope Day, and they will see their own patients and they get to be the provider for that day. And we as first years do the blood pressure readings and take all the
Mm-hmm.
histories and stuff. And yeah, so you can kind of see like, oh, in 2 years, that's what I'll be doing.
That's awesome.
Of course, like it's amazing that they have this outreach program for people that maybe not, won't have insurance otherwise. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, so are you looking forward to clinicals?
yeah, it seems it's very far away right now. I think I'll be
Like a year from
yeah,
now?
like a year from
Yeah.
now, pretty much. But I don't know. I
Okay.
keep thinking about it because that's obviously one of the greatest parts of PA school. So.
Yeah, that's where you get to practice. What are your thoughts right now? And I know this could change, so we'll have to kind of follow along about kind of where you're going to end up after PA school.
I don't know. It really changes like every day. I mean, I would love to say like, oh, I love surgery. I feel like everyone says that because obviously it's super cool.
I love surgery, so.
Um, but so like I haven't done it yet, so I don't know like if it would be fitting for me. But that's something that I'm interested in. I love the LGBTQ community, so I would love to maybe work in infectious disease and cater to that community and educate people. Um, I've shadowed in integrative medicine, and I think that there's something really special about being able to cater towards families and build that genuine connection with people too. So it really could go anyway. And then obviously
Yeah.
dermatology make it seem so awesome too. It's a great
I
specialty.
mean, I'm a little partial to derm.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know,
I
it's
love watching
fun.
mole removal videos.
That's what's so, I mean, you'd be amazed. So many patients when they're like, are you going to do things like Dr. Pimple Popper? And I'm like, probably not.
Oh,
And if you could smell that, you would not want to be in the room. So, yeah, like that is not glamorous. Like she makes it look so glamorous and
it
she has
really does.
probably one of the best like bedside manners I've ever seen, but I'm like, man, yeah, that's
The
rough.
videos are
Um,
really, yeah,
they're intense.
yeah, it's like a lot
Yeah.
of credit, even if you only see one of those a year. It's kind of
Well, so for me, a cyst, if it's inflamed, I'll drain it. But if it's intact, like my goal is to not pop that cyst. I do not want to open it up if I don't have to. So, um, I'll. It's so rewarding when you like cut one out and it looks so perfect. So People are probably gonna be super
True,
grossed out by that. It's fine.
true term lover if you want. Depending on his
My perfect little cyst. And lipomas are even better, or pilar cyst. But yeah, anyway, we'll tell everybody where they can kind of follow along with you and kind of find you and send you all the questions.
Yeah, so the best way to contact me is through Instagram. My handle is Tyler Fernandez. That's with an S at the end. But you can also contact me through email if you want, and I also have it on there.
Okay, cool. And I will link to all of that in the description for the episode.
Great, thank you so much.
But yeah, thank you for taking your time.
So nice to officially meet you, Savannah.
I know.